Okay, hello. First of all, if it isn't obvious this is a long video, I would suggest watching it, 1.5 times speed, but it's up to you. So, the start of last year. Okay, first of all, I'm a big fan of thunderstorms. I've been a fan of them since 2019, the 24th of July, 2019 specifically, when a huge thunderstorm crossed through pretty much the whole of the United Kingdom, and that event pretty much turned on a switch for me, and it was like, wow, I love this. Nature is incredible, and that became kind of a passion. And since then, I've been pretty much chasing from home any storms. And at the start of last year, I made this Discord chat to document all of the storms that I see and or miss, and any other interesting weather events of that year. And I decided I'm going to go over that entire year, and you can join me. I've got on the right the Blitzertung historical map data that shows the storms on specific days that I can revisit and see those storms. You'll see whereabouts I am. I'm right about here, where my cursor is on screen. So yeah, I'm just going to go through this entire chat, talk you through it, and this is my 2023 thunderstorm season. So first of all, we start on the 9th of May. We have this convective weather outlook. Rest in peace, convective weather. Definitely the best outlooks in the business. And I had a moderate. This moderate was across most of the south and southeast, portions of Suffolk, Norfolk, and just kind of peeked out into my area. So I was in this moderate outlook, and a moderate is very good. If you've ever been in a convective weather moderate outlook, you've probably seen storms on that today. So we'll just go through the chat, kind of exposing my location, whatever. I'm not too fussed about that. So I remember this day I was getting home from college, and I could see these big building cumulus clouds. As I was going home, you can see very dark underneath them, and kind of reaching out into an anvil shape. Especially here, you can see that this here, the building up. So I was getting quite excited. After getting home, this was the view from my window. You can, I think, see a little bit of pileus on these upper areas here. And of course, I was looking at the radar, and immediately you can see this big storm is tracking across northeasterly direction. And that's pretty close. It's coming my way. So I thought I'd go out and chase it. Again, you could see the massive build-up in the pileus, very prominent up here, but this is not actually the area of interest right here. This is looking a lot more northeast, so that's probably looking at this area here that does have activity, but I'm more worried about the stuff approaching from the west. And as I was running over to the spot that I wanted to watch from, I could see this little shelf reaching across the bottom, the base of this storm. And here we go. A couple hours later, let's fucking go. Storm 1. This was my view once I got there. Just brilliant structure. I got this panoramic photo showing the shelf reaching across, going all the way along the horizon, pretty much. Approaching my location. And first we'll look at the storm on the Blitzertung. I've already got the date up. Let's just go from the 12-hour loop from 9 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, you can see the breakout. Storms breaking out. A huge day, huge early May day across England. Many parts of the Midlands, West Midlands, the South, and the East. A lot of people saw storms that day. Very active indeed. But this was the area that I'm in, you can see it kind of explodes right over me and then continues tracking east for many hours. And this was the radar. While it was approaching me, you can see it's not the most intense storm. There's not that much white within the torrential, where I was looking here. Most of the activity did pass north of me, so I didn't get hit fully head on. This is the lightning tracker app that is not very reliable for big organized storms, but it's useful for knowing there's lightning nearby. Another look at that radar at 2 o'clock. It's quite an active storm, especially for early May. That's kind of the start of the storm season. I would consider May to September to be the storm season. And looking at the structure again, I did notice this little bit here, this little dangly bit here, that may have been a funnel, but it was too hard to tell whether it was or not. I didn't see any rotation, so I'm kind of doubting it. I think it might have just been a scary looking cloud type thing. But again, here's a look at that storm. You can see how pretty it is. There's not much rain, quite low precipitation. Most of the lightning and rain is in this area here. Here's another look at it as it passes over. You can see the whale's mouth. Very nice looking storm. Love the way it curves up. And here's me being a photographer. Just getting the nice views. Again, the whale's mouth. Very cool looking. And now we're going to look at the videos I got of the lightning. You'll probably hear me react very enthusiastically. I apologize in advance. Turn the volume down a little bit. Sometimes Discord doesn't pick up the lightning on the video. Yeah, it doesn't do it on here. It does.
Since 2020, yeah. I would go as far as to say that.
There it is. Oh my! Yep. So the first actual lightning bolt we can see is a cloud to ground. I was just talking about how it was probably the best storm I'd seen in 20. But yeah, very nice bolt. See how it branches out in this frame and then connects with the ground. Next one. Again, can't see the light. Unfortunately, Discord does seem to lower the frames when you you can see it in this one, just a quick flash right across the middle. This one very obvious here. That one is a cloud to ground. You can see it going, being obscured by the rain before reaching the ground. Quite a similar one here, similar area. And I believe the last one, unless I accidentally just went back to that first one. And here are some stills, some frames I got from those videos. I think this was a different cloud to ground as well. So I think I saw 3 on this particular day. Yeah. And yeah, here's a look at the full scale of the activity that day. Very active day. Haven't seen anything quite like it in a while. Probably, to be fair, early May or maybe in April this year so far. It's been a very dull June. We're going to move on to the second storm. This was the next day on the 10th of May. This was mid-afternoon, so again we'll do 12-hour loop. And as you can see, a lot less activity. I didn't post any kind of outlooks or anything, so there was obviously not much expected from me. Look at it once again. Yeah, it's just a little pulse storm. As you can see here on the lightning radar, we had a little bit of activity before it kind of blew up just south of me, and I was able to get a little bit of lightning. You can see a very faint flash. And there again. I didn't even see the lightning. I was just recording, and I kind of saw the flashes, but I was like, was that or was that not lightning? I had to go back and look at the video and confirm that it was indeed lightning, so that was the second storm. You can see me excited 2 days in a row. Moving on. The very next day, again, the 11th of May, I did see a storm in the distance that was producing lightning. And then later, we had this system moving towards me, but unfortunately, it was too far. Actually, no, it wasn't moving towards me. It was moving away from me. It was a little bit active, as you can see. But yes, it was moving away. This was a bit of a view that I had, but can't see any really stormy looking clouds there. I made a little hotspot on the map of where I'd seen lightning before, so it was all in this general area, apart from the second storm, which was down here. No, down here even. Okay, and then we move on a month later to the 10th of June, where we had the first high risk of 2020 issued by convective weather, mostly across the northern parts of Wales and England towards Liverpool, Blackpool area. Yeah, a high risk, a very, very rare thing for convective outlook to issue, so it was bound to be a big day, but I was more right at the bottom of this moderate risk, just about here. So, and on the net weather outlook, it was extended a lot more southerly and easterly, so I did end up being quite nicely in that 60%. And then yes, not long later, storms did erupt. Whereabouts are they? Near Swindon, and not sure what the name of that place is. Yeah, Swindon, Chippenham, Marlborough, and started pushing northwest, right in this direction. A couple storms ahead of it as well. Nothing too exciting, but we were looking mainly at this area here. So let's go to the 10th of June. Let's go a bit later and go for this 24-hour loop, because I believe it was a lot more widespread throughout the day. Going to take a minute just to get to where it started. Actually, it might have been, to be fair, I think it was started late afternoon. Well, here you can see it explodes, and it all pushes northwest. Seems to be multiple storms. I think this area in front also exploded. So let's go to the 12-hour loop and watch it explode again. Come on, 12-hour loop, please. Yeah, as you can see, very active, right across that high risk. They nailed it. And yeah. So let's look at my experience. So this was the first I could see of a big storm. As you can see, very big cumulonimbus reaching out across the sky. This was looking north at this area here, because it had pinged some activity, and it is obviously very close. But I did not end up seeing any lightning out of this pretty much just dark area. Couldn't really see any nice structure or anything, so I kind of ignored that and continued to wait for this bigger area. 16:35. I recorded the first rumble. I think that was maybe the north storm that was moving away from me, considering it was 15 minutes after this was taken, so this bigger area probably hadn't reached me yet. Sorry if you can hear my stool. And yeah, so half an hour later, this was the radar. This northern storm had exploded, and the southern storm looked like it was dying off. Not much recent activity to be found, only a few of those orange 11 to 20 minute ago strikes. So I was getting very worried, as you can see. Easterly side that was packing the punches died off. Yes, you could see where all the activity was on the western side. I don't know why I said eastern side. Yes, the west side of the storm had kind of died off. But this was heading towards Gloucester. It was moving kind of not right towards me. It was more this bigger area. It was actually right in the middle, I think, of these two heavier areas. And I went down to the local nature reserve. Another spot that I like to watch storms moving in from the southeast. You can see my comment about seeing how dark it was. This view here, Discord does compress the clouds, so it's kind of shit. But you can see how dark it was. Another picture while I was waiting for the storm to arrive. Thunder audible, sorry. So here I am. I'm at the nature reserve. I didn't go to the ham because wouldn't get the best views from over there and it'd be a longer walk. So the areas of interest is this being the main focus. Not just because of how dark it is, but because of the clouds. Would love to see a funnel. Other area is right here. That looks promising as well. Definitely going to be keeping an eye on it. And also over that way, while it's not very dark, seems to be where that more active area was and now is. But we'll see. But this is where I'm looking at the moment. And over here. So yeah, nice bit of commentary, live commentary from me. And here we have the third storm of the year. A few hours later, let's check out radar from this. So yeah, it did kind of regain energy in this area and push upwards. Didn't have much lightning in it though at this point. As you can see, the north cell was very active, but the southern cell was not too active, but it did kind of blow up again right as it was passing me, right in this big area of torrential rain. You can see all this green and orange, these X's marking the lightning, and on the lightning app you can see more activity picks up right as it passes me. Another look at it pushing northernly. Looking at the lightning website, whatever that's called, also associated with Blitzwatang, I think. And just to zoom in on all of the lightning activity, you can see just how much there was right next to me. Didn't go over me. Love to see it, but let's see what we got. So yeah, again, it's in those photos. Just going to be more of the structure at this point. A nice panoramic of very interesting looking, kind of messy storm. Again, very messy storm. Very nice structure, I will say. And this one was also very interesting because it actually had very prominent rotation. You heard me mention in the video, would like to see a funnel. Well, in fact, I almost did. You could see this area here. This was where the main rotation was. This looked very interesting. This bit here. This, I don't believe, was a funnel. It really did look like it was, and it was right where the rotation was. But I'm not convinced it was a funnel. I really think I would have caught it on video if it was rotating. So I think it just looked like a funnel, which is becoming a reoccurring theme. And some more of that. You could see the bluish haze, or hue, I mean, in this storm here. A few more photos as it passes by. Nice whale's mouth facing the other direction. And a bit of lowering scud. So here's the rotation. I managed to get time-lapse of this rotation. You can see right here. Very, very prominent rotation. Very tight rotation. Which was really cool to see. And again, this was almost like two areas of rotation, but it was mainly this bit here. Kind of going the other direction. So I'm not too sure what was going on there. Cyclonic, anti-cyclonic. So let's look at the...
There we go. There we go. Storm number 3.
It
is June 10th. Let's go.
That would cement that storm as being the third. So I caught lightning. A little bit more. So most of the lightning at first was just obscured by the rain. You can see it's quite close to me now.
How much
and this
thunder
was after I had to run home. After the rain did eventually reach me. So I quickly headed home.
How much thunder is? Oh.
Yeah, it's going to be a rotating thing. You did see lightning on the right side here. That sure did look like it hit the ground to me. Definitely quite low, so I'd be surprised if it didn't. Yes! Bit of a flash to see these. Another flash. The start of those. So that's all I was able to get from that storm. It certainly was an active storm, but it was mainly the structure and that rotation that was the highlight of that storm, which I'm not going to complain about because that was really awesome to see. I've seen plenty of lightning, so I'm not going to complain about a good structural storm. And then again, the very next day, the 11th of June, we had the very next storm. It was the convective outlook. Big area of moderate across Wales and the south and the Midlands, extending towards the north of England. So I'm kind of smack bang in the middle. And again, with net weather, kind of the same deal. I'm right around here. Here's another convective forecast from UK convective forecast, I think they're called. Big severe area. And I was again right in the middle. So it was looking very promising. This was very early, before even noon. Little storm over Gloucester popped up. But that was not what ended up being the one I'd see. So let's go to right before the end of the day and do that 12-hour loop. So it should catch. Didn't catch that first storm, but yeah, you can see the main event. Let's bring it back a little bit. Let's go to 11 o'clock, do the 12-hour loop again. So yeah, you can see that little bit there was the area here that I pointed out. But this is the main storm. And, you know, on a day like this, you'd think, oh, multiple storms are going to break out. And to be fair, a few storms did break out across northern England and Wales. But it was pretty much just this one massive storm. Let's look at that now. So here I mentioned it after, you know, about an hour of it pushing west, northwesterly. You can see big storms up here, up north, little one here, but this one that just pushed out of London and the southeast area. This was the big one, the very big one. Here's another closer look at just how torrential and nasty this thing looked. Very classic summer setup and summer storm. I'm gonna guess multicellular. I think this is all one combined system. And yeah, as I mentioned, 2 hours, we're in for a treat. 2 hours is a long time, and it's already getting late. That is what I was thinking at the time. Again, without the lightning, just really, really torrential rain, a lot of purple in this system, and again, a lot of lightning as well. This was my view at the time. You could just see the flat caps of that storm in the distance, with some puffiness at the front as well. Yeah, I mean, this was the whole storm. It was a big storm. You can see me here. I'm very confident we'll see lightning today. But then not long later, like not even 15 minutes later, it looked like it was getting weaker. You can see there's not as much rain, there's not as much lightning. It looked like it was losing energy. Very interesting radar look at this, by the way. You can see almost like bands of rain. And here you can see more Peleus right here, which I was mentioning. Peleus seems to be kind of a warning, if you will. And then again, 10 minutes later, I was eating my pizza. That was my dinner. I had already assumed that, you know, it was weakening. Oh, it's kind of over. So I was just like, I'll just eat dinner. It's not weakening. So I ended up rushing out. Again to the nature reserve, the same as the day before. And this was what I was greeted with. I was saying about the structure the day prior. This one looked a lot more organized. A very clear shelf cloud on this thing. And this is a video panning across. See the whole storm. Look at it again. Yeah, this is a big boy. This is a lot more organized. Quite a menacing looking system. So let's look at it. Here we go. Next post is going over the storm. Storm's going 2 days in a row is not oncoming, especially more intense ones. You can pause and read all that if you want. Again, here's the look at that storm right before hitting me. Just a very, intense line of storms tracking northwest, westerly. Looking at that lightning. And as you can see, it kind of did what it did the day before, where the most southwesterly side of the storm kind of lost energy and kind of disorganized and fell apart, whereas the rest of it, to the northeast of me, stayed organized and went right next to me. So it basically did the exact same thing, where it weakened as it was approaching the south side of me and then reorganized to the northeast of me. More look at the lightning, and at 7:45, you can see just how active this storm still was, and just how big it was as well. Very impressive storm. And as you can see, I managed to only get caught in some light rain. And this is the craziest part. This satellite view, both of these satellite images, showing off the storms, it was just one big organized mass, pretty much. And these couple of storms to the north as well. Just like one giant circle, almost like a supercell, if you will, but it definitely was not a supercell. It was just a very big, organized storm system, and it definitely one of the most impressive radars or satellites that I've seen in the UK. Now let's look at the videos. Yes, that was the first lightning I caught. This was after I'd moved out of the nature reserve, kind of heading home, but still looking for the lightning. I think this is a bolt to the right. You can just about see a faint flash. Okay, so this was just after I literally sprinted home. I'm very out of breath. And the storm, that was a big flash. And that was all the lightning I was able to catch. Again, not that much, but looking at the pictures, here we go. This was definitely probably my favorite picture from 2023 for storms. I'll just give you a moment to look at it while I have a quick glass of water. It was gorgeous. I was amazed. A few more pictures of this crazy shelf cloud. Just looking at it, I don't even know what to call this. The structure here almost looked like it was trying to do a little bit of Kelvin Helmholtz, but didn't quite make it. But yeah, just really interesting structure. Some more panoramic photos, catching all sides, several panoramics, and the whale's mouth. And here's some stills of the lightning lighting up the sky. This was another, or I say another, an interesting still. Because of this bit here, I don't know if this was just a visual artifact on the camera, but it's got a little bit of lightning here. I don't think it was a streamer. This is where the bolt was, to the right of the screen. You can kind of see where it kind of overexposes above this building here, this house. I think that's where the lightning actually was. So it was nowhere near this little fence here, but interesting to see. And this cloud to ground in the distance as well. And this was the 9:10 lightning activity screen cap, showing how it was pretty much just this one system that tracked across this big area. And I ended up adding another area of interest, similarly to before, because of the last 2 days where it tracked to the northeast of me. And yet again, the very next day on the 12th of June, we had another big outlook from convective weather, a massive area of high risk across the Midlands and Wales, and obviously the huge moderate risk as well. Obviously I'm again in it and quite close to that high risk. Again, the net weather risk as well, putting me right in the middle with the severe weather outline with heavy rain and large hail. And also a look at UK convective forecast. I mentioned the first high risk from this page, and it is massive, so they're obviously very confident about this day. We see the flash flood, lightning, gusty winds. So let's take a look. Let's go to the 12th of June. Did I end up seeing a storm? Let's have a look. Let's just do 24 hours, the whole day. As you can see on the left, the storm was fired off around London, right about there. And yeah, this was a lot more to how I expected the previous day to go, where it was a lot more storms like separated from each other and covering a much larger area. We'll look at it one more time. There are a lot of storms in this this particular area right there. So very few areas in this, pretty much this whole high and moderate risk, didn't see lightning. So very impressive day. So there's where I mentioned where it started. Here we are, 5 to 2 p.m. I noticed this little blip on the map. Said I'd keep an eye on it. 3 o'clock. This was what I was looking at. It was looking quite rough. See storms to the south of me, to the east of me, but none really heading my way. There was still some blips, some little like heavy showers that could build up. But I was a little bit concerned. We had an amber warning for thunderstorms from the Met Office, something that really rarely ever happens. That was the only time that year, I think, that an amber thunderstorm warning was issued. So yeah, it was looking like a significant event. And you can see my disdain from again. It seemed to be everywhere except coming towards me. So I was a little bit unhappy at this time because it was not looking good. But you can see a lot of very active organized storms popped up very quickly. This was only an hour after that last one there. This was another big system out of London. It seems London produces absolute monster systems. Here that is. Quick lightning cap. Yeah, it was I seemed to be in a bit of a storm bubble. But I was still looking at, this area down here. Could have done something. And then, what is it? About 20 to 4. I decided to go out. I could see there was some stuff heading my way. Whether it would explode in the same way the rest of it has was to be seen. But I could see some nice building up, some development. That was facing southeast. You can see it died down, not looking good. And then 2 hours, 40 minutes later, there's the excitement. And then here it is, 5 and 6, 5 and 6, not even 5, 5 and 6. So obviously, yes, I did see a storm. I did see 2 storms. This was the first one, the first radar cap. I was looking to the west when I got there, and there was some activity. It might have been down here, it might have been to the west. Can't quite remember. I'm not sure if this was the other storm. But yeah, okay. Ignore the text from my mum. So, hard to kind of see here. Can I zoom in a bit? No. But it kind of expanded out right on top of me and pretty much blew up. Not to the same extent as the rest of the activity that day. You can see to the northwest of me, it went fucking ballistic. And yeah, this was another screen cap of the lightning not long later, covering a massive area. And again, these storms, everything that was able to build itself that day was a very active storm, and that is crazy to see. Literally, even the tiniest of storms were pretty massive. So the first video was that. Unfortunately, Discord was not able to pick up the lightning from this video, but this was looking to the west. Go away drive, sorry about that. This is the second one.
This is actually fucking scary.
Okay, yeah, so I was in the middle of this field.
And
this is when I noticed the building up behind me, facing to the east. And obviously there was this flash.
This is actually fucking scary.
I'm gonna get out down
This is
here
actually fucking
to
scary.
cover. And this was what we had to deal with. So we took hit from this storm, and here it is after it passed us. You can see the cloud to ground. I'll say the activity as it passed over us was quite a lot, but it was very much obscured by the rain. It was mostly in the clouds, cloud to cloud lightning. Didn't see much, but after it passed us, we did get some more action. Unfortunately, again, didn't catch the lightning. We'll screenshots of it in a minute. Let's look at the pictures I got of the structure, the clouds. This is as it was building. This is one of the distant storms. That was not the one heading towards me. Not too sure when this was. This might have been as I got there. Just very pretty system. Pretty picture of the rays of the sunlight going through the bottom and top. And again, ooh, love to see the rays. And this was the main system that went right over me. Very menacing looking. This is where I was sheltering. Not the most ideal place, but I'm alive, so oh well. And this was the storm, that storm after passing over us and drenching us. You can't see that one very well, but hey ho. And here is a couple of bits of lightning. You see that cloud to ground. And another one, that might have been the same one actually. Just showing a flash. And then yeah, the one that wasn't picked up is right down there. And here is the look at that lightning activity. Ignore the blue, that's from either the day before or the morning, so that was not the main activity. But all of that red was from that afternoon, so again, very active, typical summer day. I wish we saw something like that this month, but unfortunately, nada. Okay, now we're moving on to the 18th of June. It has already been quite a while. We're still in June. Here was the convective outlook. I'm going to try to skim through it a little bit more. Again, the net weather outlook putting me in that 60%. Here we are looking at the storms as they formed. It was about 4 o'clock. Again, I'm about here. All the storms formed away from me. I was kind of giving up because you could see all this rain pushing in. I was like, that's going to kill off any storms that could have come my way. It's going to, ruin all the energy, whatever. But then this happened. I guess I'm not good enough at meteorology, so I can't explain how this happened, but amidst this rain, something popped up. And as you can see here, if it survives, 2023 will be the best year for capturing lightning by June 18th. Yeah, the last few years, since 2019, hadn't been amazing. I think the most lightning I'd seen in 1 year was like 6 storms. Obviously, we're already at 6 storms by this point. So, yeah. This bit that just tracked north of me also did gain energy and activity and lightning, but it was moving away from me, so I didn't see anything there. So I believe I was at my dad's at the time, so I was driving home. And there was this moving towards me, or at least moving towards Tewkesbury. And yeah, by the time it reached Tewkesbury, it was not really producing anything, so that day unfortunately did not produce for me. But then, 2 days later, on the 20th of June, number 7, out of nowhere, here's that radar. The storm pretty much just built up right on top of me. And is the outlooks from today? From that day. It wasn't looking very likely, so that's why I didn't really post them. Because it was like, oh, I'm just in a slight area. You know, not much can happen. Spoiler alert, I was very lucky. I was very lucky that day. Let's go to 20th of June. It was around 9 o'clock, so we can go, I guess, about there, do 12-hour loop. Storms pushing over North Europe. You can see Ireland got a lot of activity, and then we started getting some of it. This little storm here, that's the storm I was able to see. Again, all this blue was probably the day before, so that was kind of it. That was pretty much it. So, very few areas actually saw activity. A couple storms down the southwest, who hadn't seen much activity by that point. Here it is. Again, you can read through that if you want. Again, just the radar and the lightning pings as it tracked right next to us once again. The hot zone, you know, that area of interest I marked in red. Yep, it sure did. And this was the storm. Very interestingly, it was kind of like two areas, kind of conjoined. Obviously, this left area, the intense part, and this area to the right as well. There's like a bit of space in between that didn't have any rain, so you know, it looks cool. Here's another look at it closer, and this was just a picture of the rain, pretty much. I guess I posted the lightning first, so you can see some at the top left. This was while I was walking home, actually. It was still going behind me, and I was able to get another picture of it. Again, more flashes. Flash. You could see it just barely. Here are the videos. Yeah. Big flash, you can see it just appear after that flash in the middle.
See you later.
Big flash. You could just about see the bolt. You can see me saying goodbye to some random man who I was chatting with while I was there watching the storm.
See you later. Ooh.
That's quite a nice one. Big one. And yeah, this last one. It's heading home. So yeah, that was the 20th. And then again, 2 days later, I was put in a yellow thunderstorm warning. The outlooks were not great for my area, just about in the slight for convective weather, and again, also the same for net weather, in that 40%. On this day, I actually went and climbed Breeden Hill, a nearby hill, not for any reason related to storms. I was going for something completely unrelated. So I was looking at the radars like, it would be really cool to see a storm from here. This was some rain in the distance. Was not a storm, unfortunately, as you can see here on the radar. You can see this was the area I was looking at. There was a little bit of activity down near Oxford, which got me a bit excited, because maybe these little bits here could do something. But unfortunately, it did not. So, nothing that day. Here I am talking about convective weather, retiring, no longer posting convective outlooks, which is a huge shame. Again, it was definitely the best. I can say that for certainty. He was the best for outlooks, the most reliable, almost nailed it every single time. So again, big shame, but it is what it is. He had his reasons, and I respect that. Great guy. So this is now moving towards the middle of July. I talk about how it's been a while, but there is some promising stuff on the way. This was the outlook for the 8th of July, the net weather outlook. I'm not quite in that 60% risk. Yeah, the radar's at 2 o'clock. Some storms in Wales. And then we had a little bit popping up. I was at this event in my town, this medieval reenactment event. So I wasn't really paying that much attention to the weather. I was more focused on that, but my phone pinged me, my lightning app pinged me that this was building and heading right towards me, heading north. And this is what I was looking at, as you could see, this event right back here. And this big area of grey that was that thunderstorm. We've got thunder, I say. Holy fucking shit is my next one. And yeah, spoiler alert, we did get storm. And as I was trying to write about it, this happened. So, you know, another storm kind of popped up, but that one didn't do anything. Not near me, at least. It was active on its east side. You can see the remnants of the storm that passed over us, still going strong. Quick look at the clouds. So yeah, Storm 8, the 8th of July. We'll go from 11, do that 12-hour loop. Probably start in Wales. Yeah, you can see all the stuff in Wales already. And here is where the main storm that I saw popped off, tracked for several hours northerly. Again, you can stop and read all that if you want. Just kind of explaining what happened that day. It's easier for me to just brush past that and let you read. So it was a very, very intense storm right on top of us. A lot of CG all around us. I could see it. I wasn't able to catch any CG, unfortunately, but it was right on top of us. It was very scary being at a packed event, having a storm right on top of us, dropping down bolts. Some more look at the rain and the storm from this event. Here is the lightning that I was able to catch. I did catch lightning, just one. Yeah, it's a very faint flash. The Discord video. I think it's this one that has the bolt. Yeah, you can see the bolt at the top there. Just about focus and time.
Yeah, that was CG.
Yeah. So this is my live reaction, I guess.
Yeah, that was CG.
Right after seeing a big bolt, and the thunder confirming it.
This isn't safe here anymore.
Nice observation, mate. Got that faint flash, and then the next. Yeah, big crack of thunder. And this was a bit later. Very torrential rain. A lot of people got soaked. I had to run into a tent to hide from this rain. Which you can see right here. You can see the moment where I'm like, oh shit, I need to go. These people are like, come on, get in. That was very funny. So that. But yeah, that was the storm of the 8th. Very intense storm. Back again the next day. We see this a lot. Not a very promising day by no outlooks. It's kind of how you know. Looking at the radar, there's some activity heading in my general direction. Did see some nice mammotus. You could say my comment on that. Didn't have much battery. I did end up going to that same field that I've been a few times to watch it. If it ended up doing anything, as you can see, it was kind of doing something. Still had some torrential rain, still had some lightning in it. So I was. I actually repositioned, as you can see here. I was at the Ham, which is. Where can I find a picture of the Ham? Here, so that's this place, you know, with the river and the big open field. And the nature reserve was the storms in June. That's where the nature reserve is. I guess I can show you here. So I went over to the nature reserve. It looked like we might have had a bit of Kelvin Helmholtz. Again, I'm no expert. I couldn't tell you for sure if it was. Nasty looking storm. You can see very heavy rain. And yes, storm 9, half 7. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at what happens on the 9th. This is quite an amusing one. You can see just how much activity was, and then it kind of rebuilt itself and tracked just about over me before dying off completely. I'll go to that 6-hour loop. Okay, I missed it. But yeah, there you go. That was about all we got. A few bolts. Not much at all, but obviously I did end up seeing lightning. It had some great structure here. It looked like kind of a shelf cloud, maybe not quite enough structure, and here was the lightning that I was able to catch. A bolt. And I think that might be just recording the thunder. Maybe. Yeah. This is the only thing I was able to catch from that storm, but lightning is lightning. A storm is a storm. I don't care how, unexciting it is, if that's a word. Just one bolt is good enough. It's a storm. 15th of July. I was looking at this activity that was once again kind of moving in that same position towards me, same as the last couple of storms, but unfortunately didn't amount to anything. This was my view from my workplace. And then we are going to the start of August, so skipped a couple weeks of the late July. You can see more of my commentary. You can see me, yeah, so this is the next storm. This is the second. So, after me saying slight potential today and then nothing on the horizon, storm season slowed down significantly, which is a shame. And then, as you can see, the same day, I ended up getting another storm. So we're going to go to the second. We're going to do 12-hour loop once again, even though it was in the afternoon, so I probably could have gotten away with the 6-hour loop. And here is that activity. Kind of just over me and the surrounding areas. So another very lucky day. You can see I noted the lightning pings, which prompted me to go out and watch the storm approaching. And there it is, the first on net weather. Very torrential rain in this core. Yep, I agree. So here's this storm approaching me. Look at the radars. Not a huge one. Not very exciting for, summer standards. But a storm's a storm. Here again, the net weather outlook. Really can't say that right. I always have a stutter when I try and say the net weather outlook. So here's this storm. Again, not a direct hit, past just next to us. Again, facing west over the Ham. Definitely the best place to watch storms, it seems. Maybe a little bit of Mammatus up here. But yeah, this is the storm. Here's some of that lightning. I was focused on this area down here, but the lightning was more towards up in the clouds up here. Another wide shot of that storm. And another one as I was heading home, I believe. Here are the videos. So again, just a flash up here. A little bit of interesting looking structure down here, but it really was anything exciting. Any lightning on that video? Little flash again up here. Quite excited about that one. And then after me saying we didn't get much activity, and then getting activity, I kind of was like, okay, it's not going to be a good storm, kind of hoping that I would kind of have the same impact, but no, it did not work like that. Did get some nice views of some big storms, or I guess storms, rain, big clouds, nice looking cumulonimbus clouds, some scud at the bottom of them, and facing southeast you could see some very big beefy anvils, 2 of them next to each other, which was cool. Another look at that big anvil. And then again, we're weeks later, the 21st of August. I mentioned that August has been awful for storms, least active August ever. And remember this, I once again complain about the lack of storms. Some big storms across France. 25th of August, small chance for storms today. Oops. Yeah, so I was looking at this area here, pushing east. Did have some activity. These lightning bolts obviously look close, but I don't think they were accurate. This is what I could see. I didn't think much was going to happen, but as you can see very clearly, it did. So we're going to go to 25th of August, starting at the 1st of August, ending at the end of August. Again, we'll do... This was quite late, so I can probably just do about here, do that 6-hour loop. Yep, there you go. This area here. Again, pause to read. I ain't going to read all that. So it was mainly over the Worcester-Pershore area, to the north of me, but I did get a view of the lightning. First look at this app. I don't know why I decided to use that one. This storm looked pretty good. It had a pretty messy shelf at the front of it. Here's a look at the lightning. I got some CG there, some CG here right in the middle. That was cool to see. And another flash from looking from the other side of my house. Yeah, again, I don't think it caught the on that video. It did there, just there. And again, complaining about the lack of storms worked. And I was ill at the time, so it was nice to have that. And then the next day, once again, we did have some activity. This area here was near me. Coming from seemingly this. Doesn't look too impressive, but it was growing, as you can see. Definitely was growing nice. Did have some torrential looking rain. But ultimately, it did. It kept building up near me and teasing me with a couple of strikes. But I think they were false strikes, and I ultimately didn't get anything on that day. So now we're going again a week later to the 8th of September. And it was looking good for Saturday, Sunday. Not sure what days they were, probably the 9th or the 10th. We had a yellow warning for thunderstorms, so that probably was the 9th. Talking about it, looking at the storms to the north of me, north of Wales, and you know, to the southeast of Leeds. Looking at the radars, looking into the future. Looking at storms not quite hitting me. And this is the 10th of September, okay? Big storms built up, tracking northeast, moving away from me. Unfortunate, didn't look very good for me. It was a huge storm on this day, this particular day. I don't need to exaggerate how much lightning there was in that storm and how big it was. I could see on the Windy app, this webcam showed definitely the most insane looking storm I've seen in the UK. I mean, look at that thing. It looks like the bloody Armageddon is impacting. Crazy shaft cloud. Crazy looking structure. And again, the lightning, unreal. But I was kind of looking at it like, well, we're not getting anything. Here I'm looking at the activity, just constant pinging. The lightning activity, mentioning it could have been a supercell, and I'm pretty sure it was. And then here I have, I believe this may be the grand ending to the UK storm season. And then a couple hours later, yeah, Storm 12. Storm 12. Literally out of nowhere, I was like, okay, it's kind of over. So let's go to the 10th of September. Right to the end of the day. We'll do the 12-hour loop, maybe. Looking at Wales. Looking at Wales. That was the storm. Now you're probably thinking, how was that the storm? It's nowhere near you. You'll see. But again, this storm was huge, and it had like multiple rounds and all this activity up the north as well. I mean, a huge day for this kind of area. I forget what this place is called. But again, yeah. Ignoring that storm that I saw, yeah, it kind of blew up over Wales. You can see it's all in the middle of the Wales. Radar. Looking at lightning and radar. Trying to keep talking. Trying to not bored. Not very good at this whole YouTube thing. And this is why. I was sat at home, looking at this massive storm over at the east. And then I noticed, I guess I was looking at radar, something popped up in Wales. And I also noticed the sky is like completely clear. So I'm thinking, give it time. Maybe we'll be able to see something in the distance. I've got my window open. I'm checking out. And I can see through the trees. I see some faint flashing. And I'm like, okay, real deal. I run over to the ham, the same field as always, it seems. I was able to watch this beautiful storm in the distance, very active. And I mean, it's just incredible. Very amazing storm. Distant storms at nighttime is something that very rarely happens. I've only seen it once before, in 2020, in August. There was a storm over Birmingham that I was sat watching from my bedroom. And 3 years later, over 3 years later, it happened again. An even bigger storm, seen from the middle of a field. You can see these videos. Obviously, because it was so dark, but it was a storm. I was just awestruck, honestly.
Kaboom. No, it wasn't very good. Kaboom. Do it. Do it. Yeah.
Trying to tempt the storm by going kaboom. Didn't really work. Sat there for like an hour just watching it, and then I posted the odds. This is so funny to me. Net weather. I mean, they weren't exactly wrong with the 60% up here, but basically nothing down where the main significant massive storm was. Partially in the 40%. But quite a big percent of it was also in that 20%. So, probably not a great one for net weather there. But this area of Wales was in the 40%. The UK convective weather also struggled to really take note of that storm happening. I guess it wasn't really expected, but it was huge. So, I don't know how that was really missed. But hey, I'm not a forecaster. I don't know all the science, so won't judge. But yeah, again, slightly in the enhanced. I did post the full storm to my YouTube. I think it is unlisted. If you want to see it, then message me, I guess. Here you can see I posted a video from the day of all the lightning. Already shown you it, so whatever. Made a bit of a observation on the distance in which I could see storms if they do occur at night time, and it's clear enough. We continue through September. We got outlooks for lightning, even estofex, almost in a level 1 severe risk. Getting a lot of activity in the south on the 17th, and a big tornado in France on that particular day as well. Very cool to see. These storms are huge, very textbook France imports, if that's what they were. It certainly looked like it. Had another chance on the 21st, and then on the 2nd of October, another chance as well. I'm very dramatic, ignore that. Apparently there was a storm right next to me on this day, but I didn't see it, didn't hear anything, so I'm not sure what was going on there. And as we push further into October, you know, more lightning nearby. Seeing a lot of lightning from Storm Kieran on the 1st of October. Pretty crazy storms in the channel near Guernsey and Jersey. That was unfortunately, I say unfortunately, but that was it. 12 storms through 2023, when my previous was 6. I've doubled my personal most thunderstorms in a year. With some really beautiful storms, a couple of active storms, a couple of lucky pulse storm shots. I made a little thing at the end of the year going over the storms. You can pause and read. You know, these are some of the highlights of all these storms. Here are the stats. Days of Thunder 15, Thunderstorms captured 12, CG captured 11, so almost 1 CG per storm. 5 shelf clouds, 5 of the storms being directly overhead, so 7 of them were not directly overhead, 1 of them at night time. That was probably the biggest complaint I had for that year. Out of 12 thunderstorms, only 1 of them was at night time. And even though it's super cool in the distance, you know, something we don't often see, I love nighttime storms. Nighttime storms are probably way better than daytime storms, because obviously at night you can see things, you can see the lightning much better. Obviously you can't see the structure quite as well, but in terms of lightning, nighttime is the goat. And 1 rotation, rest in peace convective weather, but they did come back to deliver us with the Days of Thunder chart, and as you can see, it was a super active year, the most active year in several years. Here's the comparisons from the previous years. The max being 17 plus days. Here it was 20 plus days in this specific area near London, which makes sense. London is a hotspot, quite literally, so they get the most storms. This is my little area here. So, yeah, I ended up seeing quite a lot. It matches with the Days of Thunder I heard around that 15-16 mark. So, yeah, and looking at the previous years, we haven't had nearly quite as much. So, 2023 was, without a doubt, a very lucky year, a very awesome, as you can see where I've highlighted my area. Yeah, it was a fantastic year. Exceptionally lucky year for me. That I just hope can become normal, but probably won't. I'm not going to get my hopes up. I'm not going to let 2023 skewer my expectations. But yeah, I hope you've found this video kind of interesting. I hope you enjoyed. That's kind of it. I've kind of just gone through the whole thing. I'm not sure what else to say. So, yeah. I hope it was interesting. best of luck to you if you are an enthusiast hoping for good storms this year. Tell me what your storm season was like last year, or any year if you want, maybe your whole life. Tell me everything. I'll see you soon.